이어서 카이스트 정재승 교수님과 파올로 베난티 신부님의 대담을 청해 듣도록 하겠습니다. 네, 정재승 교수님은 뇌를 연구하는 물리학자로 국민들에게 각종 방송과 또 저작물을 통해서 잘 알려져 계신데요. AI에 대해서 조금 더 긍정적인 측면에 대해서 이야기를 나눈다고 하시니까 기대가 됩니다. 함께 들어보도록 하겠습니다.
Hello, good morning. Yeah. We just have 20 minutes. Yeah. Actually, I'm a computational neuroscience scientist working on the decision making. So I'm monitoring what happens in the brain while we're making decisions, and we apply this process to the artificial intelligence, which is called brain-inspired AI. The reason why I'm studying this is to develop the AI using the small amount of data sets to reduce the energy consumption and in the era of the climate crisis. Yeah. Which means that the AI is very closely related to the social issues, and we need to establish the very important ethical foundations. And you are a prominent expert in this field, and you already experienced a lot of social accidents, phenomena in the Europes, Italy, the Vatican. Yeah, so we'd like to have your experience and insight about these issues. So I'm preparing a list of the questions to share with you. Yeah. First, I'd like to talk about the deepfake and the sexual crime. Recently in Korea, the terrible, horrible sexual crimes using the deepfake technology has become a social issue. I guess the sexual crimes and privacy attack using the artificial intelligence and the personal information might experienced in Europe's in Italy for the last 5 years. So my question is that what effort are you being currently made to figure out this problem?
Yeah, thank you very much for this question. It's a deeply compelling question, you know. We have to be back to what happened in the past with other technology to find some kind of element that can help to use this technology. It's not a matter, like you said before, of using or not using AI. AI is here and will stay with us. And this is not a problem. The problem is how to make it compatible with our social structure. When we start to develop some tools like cars that are simple, fastest than the human beings, to avoid accident between human beings and cars, we develop some kind of standards. For example, we say that for drive a car, you need a license. And every car needs a plate with a unique identifier that associates that car to a human beings. Should we think the same model for AI in the deepfake problem? Should we think that to be able to use such kind of model, we need a license? Should we be trained on what we can and what we can't do? So once again, it's not a problem directly on the machine, but on the human side of the machine. This is a question. Is it a simple deployable and usable technology, or because of such powerful technology like the one that can produce image and deepfake need a sort of license to avoid unwanted effect? And the second thing is, this is really actual now in discussion with a global consortium that is called C2PA. Should the product made by an AI be simple like every other images or video, or should be in some way blueprinted to be recognizable as an AI product? If we go in this blueprint direction, every images that could be produced, or video footage that could be produced by an AI, is simple something that has a blueprint that the machine, before allowing us to visit, can simple point out as a machine-produced element. Imagine like now when you go to a website and there is a little lock in the address that tell you that this website is encrypted, HTTPS. If we put C2PA as a blueprint on every AI-produced images or video, you immediately know that this is not a real one, but it's an image production. So it's not a matter of technology, but which kind of social guardrail we have to put in place to avoid such kind of incident.
But that answer reminds me, actually inspired me to have another question about the role of technology. Many people believe that technology, AI technology, can play an important role in preventing or figuring these AI-related ethical issues. For example, when the deepfake videos flood in the internet and social media, then we can develop the AI technology to detect the and delete such video online simultaneously. So do you believe that the AI technology can be helpful for the figuring out this problem?
We are in a world with a free market, and as there are so many players that are developing such technology, there are other players that are developing AI tools that can develop AI.
Yes.
Coming back to the example of car, because I think it's one of the most interesting from that perspective. We develop radar for speed or camera enforced tools, and those are tools to regulate the flow and regulate the traffic. But the human part is so important. And don't forget that we are playing with a new technology that, because it's digital and not material, has the power to be produced outside of the power of a country. So you can have such kind of deepfake produced in a third state, not only for sexual crime, but also to produce a public opinion that can change the democratic orientation of a country. In 2017, Foreign Affairs, a diplomatic international review journal, really important, produced a new term. We know that there is hard power. I put a lot of military near your border, so you change your idea. We know that there is soft power. I get your best student, I give them a formation, so we become friends. There is a new way of international relationship that is called sharp power. I use the power of social media, especially with AI, to damage the democratic functioning of another country. Such kind of influence could avoid such kind of regulation. And for such kind of influence, we need two things. First, a global governance, and a national one is not enough. Second, also some kind of international guardrail that could be automated like the one that you say. But we have another problem. You know, the majority of the world are on social platforms that are owned by United States country. And because there is the section 230, that simple do not give any responsibility to the platform about the content that are shared on the platform, a lot of time you don't have the legal power to ask to such platform to remove such kind of content. So we need also an educational effort because, you know, once again, it's not the machine in itself, it's the human beings, the fragile one and the one that has to be educated.
Okay. Okay, then naturally we need to discuss about the education. Yeah. Actually, many professors in Korean university and teachers in high school as well, we are very confused and deeply concerned about the educational use of AI in schools these days. Yeah. Definitely the same in Europe as well. We are worrying that the educational effort might be reduced and not very much if the homework is given and the students figure out or solve the problems using the generative AI, writing an essay with AI, for example. And for me, I've been providing with questions in midterm and final in the form of take-home exam for many years, but it seems not possible from now on because they definitely use the ChatGPT. So how much the generative AI should be applied for better education effort is an important question, but unanswered. Particular in particular, the schools are concerned about how to teach the writing skills to students. Do you think the creative, logical thinking is possible or improved without writing experience on their own? Yeah, that's my question. And how to use how we include the AI, generative AI, in the systematic education in the schools.
Well, first of all, we are the legacy generation before the ChatGPT generation.
Yes.
And it's interesting that every time that technology connected to language arrive in society, the legacy generation feel really scared by the new technology. When we introduce the writing technology, a lot of people say it's the end of the human beings. When we introduce the printed technology, the print press, the same things happen.
Yep.
And now probably we are scared by this computed language. We have to avoid this apocalyptic end of the world view of such kind of technology. But this does not mean that there are not challenges. Let me stress two kinds of challenges that we have to address. First one, we are a really unique species, you know? We are not cat. If you have a cat, when a cat is just born, he is really able to know what he can eat and what he can't eat. I'm not using the dog because the dog is not so powerful. Well, me as a mammal, different from the cat, I have not this ability. I spent all my elementary school painting mushroom red with white dot. Then someone teach me that those are toxic and I can't eat it. So we don't have, by instinct, all what need to survive. But this allows us to do something more. That is the transmission of all the knowledge of every generation to the next generation, is the name of education. So I'm not like the first human beings, because I have at least 30 centuries of human beings before me that are transmitting to me such kind of knowledge. In the last 300 years, we start to transmit such kind of information in a way that I would like to define architectural. So every section of knowledge belongs to such section. If you go inside the library, you see all the engineer topics in one scaffold, all the neuroscience topic in another scaffold, because all the knowledge that are there are connected with some kind of methodology. Yep. Well, with ChatGPT-like system, or with system that simple tell to you the knowledge, we are moving from this architectural knowledge to an oracular knowledge. The machine throw out the information without any architectural boundaries. And if you have not the conscience of the critic thinking to recognize the validity of such kind of technology, you are simple lose. So the idea is to produce a new ability in the new generation that allow them to recognize the value of such kind of information. It's like if we are again facing a new problem that is the problem of analphabetism. In the Middle Age, the analphabetism was to enter inside the library and was not able to decode what is inside the book. Today is to be inside a huge flow of information and not be able to decode the validity of the information one from the other. Pandemic and critics to vaccination is the best example on this. Yes. First element. Second element, you pointed out really fast in your presentation, is this idea that human being is not a machine. And if you have a relationship between a human being and a machine, the real problem is that human being is producing on the machine a theory of mind. So I simply imagine on the other, on you now, that you have some kind of feeling, desire, and will. This is a really important trait of our species because allow us to cooperate. And 10,000 years ago, allow us to move inside the environment from a really low powerful species to the dominant one. We are not strong as the mammoth, but working together, we can kill the mammoth. Well, this theory of mind is injected in us by LLM. Every time that I use an LLM, I start to imagine a theory of mind on the LLM. And this is also forced by the company to sell me the perfect assistant. The perfect AI assistant will be the one that I will be relaxed to as a good friend. But there is a problem, especially with the new LLM that has a large context, because they can remember things that I told to them, and they can connect point of my life, telling to me things of myself that I don't know. And I could be not prepared to that. I'm fragile. I'm not functioning. I'm existing. And of such kind of relationship, if there are no guardrail, meta prompt of configuration that avoid the machine to be too much invasive in my emotional condition, could be disastrous. We could have people that commit suicide. We could have depressed people. We could have a lot of different social effects if we don't, in some way, emotional guardrail such kind of tool in personal relationship. And in the other side, we have to educate people that those are things and not human beings. It's not correct to develop a theory of mind. There was a lot of movie, Try to Think to Her. The theory of mind on AI produced falling in love with the AI. And those are such kind of problem that especially in the moment in which scalability will produce an LLM for every kids, it will be terrible. And we have to face it as a challenge.
Thank you so much for this comment. Yeah, it's a very new, novel way to look at the relationship between human and the machine. Yeah. Let's switch the gear, and we need to talk about the privacy. Yeah. In South Korea, every household has an AI speaker. Yeah. These are all installed in the living room or bedroom, and they listen to all the sounds we made in our daily life. Yeah. The smartphones we always wear are also eavesdropping on our conversations all the time, and they listen to when we have sex and listen to the gossips we shared in the bedroom. Yeah. Sometimes they exploit this information for commercial purposes. They eavesdrop on my conversations. Yeah, for example, we are talking about my plans to visit Italy in the winter vacation. Then I will get the Italy travel advertisement in my social.
Really smart.
Yeah. So, what do you think? How should we deal with this issue socially? Yeah. And you might have some experience in that kind of the privacy attack or personal information issues in Europe.
Well, let's be really honest. There are no such thing as a free lunch. A lot of such device come to us with no cost or really low cost. But they cost in terms of energy, they cost in terms of consumption of computational power and things like that. So, of course, company that give us such kind of tools has to monetize, has to take money to pay these things. It's like when you go to a pub to drink a beer and there are salty snacks for free. They are not for free. They force you to consume more. There is a cost that comes with a big reward. So the problem is a problem that if we would like to have a privacy comes with a cost. And that cost we have to put in the budget.
Yep.
Other ways, it will be a free field in which companies are really free to monetize such kind of cost. Well, there is another problem. The problem is that much more the computation is everywhere, inside the car, inside smart speaker, inside something else. Such kind of element could be infiltrated by some kind of foreign power. And this is a geopolitical topics to steal part of important information that cannot be steal in other way. And this is something that we are seeing in the global market, especially with the car that are always connected. Can you imagine how many precious information a manager is talking about in his own car? And the car is always connected. So there is a new frontier of cybersecurity that has to be faced. And this is much more cybersecurity as a culture, that not a cybersecurity as a tools that has to be developed in this digital world.
Yeah. Very important comment. Yeah. finally, I'd like to ask you how to establish the new ethics in the AI era. Yeah. Korean society has not yet established a forum for discussing the AI ethics, and unfortunately, the mass media does not seem to be doing this job properly. And the generation might have the differences in ethics, depending on their frequency and degree of AI use, or the digital literacy, the level of digital literacy, their attitude toward the technology, like an AI, is quite different. So we need to coordinate different opinions and finally achieve the social consensus to establish the ethics for the era of AI. So can you give us some advices about that?
The time is up,
Yeah.
but I will try to be super short.
Please.
It's not a matter to find a way, because the way is a way to go. It's a matter to build a square. In the square, everyone bring his own presence, bring his own voice. It's a matter to take together all the stakeholders, university, industry, government, because it's a matter of surviving of democracy. Democracy bet on the ability of citizens to have their own opinion. If we develop such kind of tools without ethics, such tools could simply change the public opinion and could damage or in some way jeopardize the same democracy. So we have to build up squares in which the different voices with different competence can be part of the discussion to produce a workable way.
Yeah. Time's up, yeah, but thank you so much. Your insightful comments are very helpful for most of the Koreans and audience, to think about the ethics in AI. And I hope this will be the first opportunity to establish the AI ethics in Korea as a first step.
Thank you very much for having me. I hope that you can have a really fruitful AI ethics discussion, because the world needs of Korea, Korea product, and Korea ethics.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
마치겠습니다. 감사합니다. 네.
네, 파울로 베난티 신부님과 카이스트 정재승 교수님께 다시 한번 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다.